Hello everyone, my name is TaxOwlbear and welcome back to the Lovecraftian video game Retrospective, and welcome to the Hound of Shadow. As you will notice, in this game you actually have character creation and you have graphics, even though this is still a text adventure. So yeah, you can choose everything. You can choose your title, your name, your birthday, your profession, and after you did that you can choose from different skills in different skill trees, and you can allocate points to those skills from 1 to 100. This game has a ridiculously complex character creation mechanic, which is actually more complex than most RPGs, so games that are actually focused on character building throughout the game. You can also choose your nationality, but you can only be British and American. So I mean, just look at this. So you can be like an athlete, a sloth. You can actually choose, if you're a man, how long you've been in the Great War. You can choose whether you're good at physical stuff, at painting, necromancy, mysticism, sleuthing, everything. It's insane. Now, you might think, wow, this is like the Call of Cthulhu RPG. This is like the greatest thing ever. I have to choose different weapons. You can choose whether you can fly a plane. And the thing is, nothing of this matters in the actual game. Nothing, really. You will always be the same guy, pretty much, or the same girl. None of this differs. And the only thing that this character creation process does is that you occasionally do a different comment on stuff. For example, at one point you find a text that's written in Gothic, or like a mix between Old German and Gothic. And if you happen to be a linguist or speak that language, then you can translate it. And if you don't, you just ask someone and they translate it for you. That's about the extent that this character creation matters. I mean, I'm just choosing random stuff and I'm still doing this. Just look at this, how many skills these are. And it's not just choosing skills, it's actually choosing different amounts of different skills. So if you distribute your points carefully, you can actually have, I don't know how many skills. I don't even know what that does. So yeah, and after you've done this, you dive into the actual game. So the backstory is quite simple. You participate in a seance, and this seance gets the attention of the titular Hound of Shadow, which is an extra-dimensional creature that wants to kill you. And you have to find a way to prevent that from happening. The game is pretty basic. From a technical point of view, it's alright. The phaser is pretty good, not as good as the one in previous game we discussed, The Lurking Horror, in my opinion. And this game has a little oddity. Whenever you get exposition text, at least very often, occasionally you have to click a key or press a key to continue, and then it gives you like one more line of text, which for some reason it's really irritating. Why couldn't they fit that one little line of text on the pages? I know this is a very, very nitpicky complaint, but for some reason this really bugged me throughout the game. So yeah, what your character actually does, none of it matters. So you and your friend John, I also called my character John, so that was kind of stupid, but yeah, it doesn't really matter, as I've already said. Nobody will actually call you by your name, you will just be called, actually nobody will reference you by your name, and your gender doesn't even matter. So yeah, here you've got one of those images. There are a couple of still images here. If you've got the Amiga version instead of the DOS version, those will look way better. The problem is that all these images basically just show stuff like the seance at the beginning, and then it just shows the library or the street where you live, instead of, you know, the hanged corpse you find at one point, or maybe the Hound of Shadow, or even a glimpse of it. No, it doesn't. So all these images are pretty much wasted. They don't show anything interesting. So, and that's really a shame. What I like about this game is that you can travel quite easily, so you can just, for example, type go home and you go back to your place. You don't have to navigate painfully through the streets. I appreciate that very much. And yeah, as I've already said, from a mechanical point of view it's not too bad, but what is bad is that in this game you have a time limit. So if you don't hurry up enough, then the Hound of Shadow will get you. It will basically just pop up at one point and you die. And at that point you basically go back to the beginning of the game, or you can load a save, but loading a save is pretty pointless most of the time, because you probably already passed the point where you don't have enough time to finish the game in time and avoid the Hound. So you probably have to restart over again, which is not too bad, because if you know what to do, you can actually finish this game in maybe 20 minutes or half an hour. If you don't, you might need something like maybe an hour or two. And after you got killed, you basically just restart the game and then you do everything you've done all over again. And you've already done one, there's no challenge, you basically just do it quicker, you avoid waiting, you avoid doing redundant stuff. So yeah, it's not very interesting. You do get a couple of allies throughout the game, and you can basically solve your issue with, let's say, a mystic woman and a priest. It doesn't matter, not really, it just means that one or two puzzles are a little bit different. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter, and it doesn't really increase the replay value. So yeah, which is really a shame. There should be different ways to end this game, considering that it's already pretty basic. So yeah, altogether I can't really recommend this game because it's very frustrating. You are very likely to get killed at least 2 or 3 times unless you use an FAQ to complete this game. And there's very little drive. I mean, even if you finish the game, it's basically just, okay, so the Hound didn't kill you, that's it. That's basically the ending. So I'm not even spoiling it for you because what is there to spoil, really? So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this game. It's not all that good, and if you like text adventures and you like Lovecraftian games, I would definitely recommend the Lurking Horror over this game. And the company who did this game, they also released a sequel to it called Daughter of Serpents or The Scroll, and we are going to discuss that too and see whether it actually improves compared to this game. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time. Take care and goodbye.